Live, brother. And I'm excited.
I'm excited as well to be live. To be live and alive.
So, I just want to welcome everyone to our lunchtime next level conversation, level up with the Akbar's lunchtime tea talk. Wow, I got it out this time, brother. This is amazing. I appreciate it. And you know what? I'm excited about our topic today. As I said, you're going to be swallowing a lot of lavender.
No worries.
Just work it out, brother. So today our topic is faith/trust. And I put ain't no stopping us now on it because I'm so excited. I want to let everyone know who I am. My name is Rachel Akbar, the retirement slayer. I am the Harriet Tubman of finance. I am leading individuals out of financial poverty, financial slavery. We are in the Underground Railroad trying to free everyone from them tax deferred plans that's going to take 40% of your taxes, 40% of your income when you retire. Many people don't realize that this is a devastation effect that's going to happen to you, but it doesn't have to happen to you. Life can happen for you, not to you, once you have more information. There's 20 books written on tax-free retirement. I highly suggest you read them. I highly suggest that you take some time, sit down with me, sit down with Mr. Akbar. Let us share with you this information. We have the cure to financial cancer, and I am so excited that we don't have to be down and out anymore. Generations to come can be wealthy, can be free, and can create beautifully whatever their dreams may be. So that is my faith, and that is my trust for today. And to open the question, Mr. Akbar, with your faith right now being where it is, what do you trust that's going to happen for you in the future?
Well, you know what? That's an excellent question, Rachel. But I was just so excited about this Underground Railroad, and what I know about the train is that you just get on board.
Get on board.
You don't need no ticket.
Don't need no ticket.
Don't need no ticket. Just get on board.
Don't need no baggage. Hey. Thank the Lord.
Thank the Lord and get on board. And you know what? The road to financial freedom is visible. All you got to do is get on board. And I guarantee you one thing, you will be headed into financial freedom. It's referred to as the promised land. Is that right? The promised land. Let's get into the promised land of finances. And it's often people hesitate to talk about that. And I don't know how this has become so taboo when all we do is spend our waking moments trying to get another dollar, but we don't know what to do when we get that dollar. We go give it to somebody else instead of allowing it to work for us. Man, I am so excited about what we have embarked upon. I almost said discovered.
Discovered, yeah.
But it was already here, so I didn't discover it. I just came to realize that there was an option for me that I had no idea about prior. So I was asleep, you see. And so what we're doing now, we are awakening the sleeping giant. Because we got the multitude of people who are absolutely asleep when it comes to finance. And then when you tap into it and disturb them, they coming out of their slumber. They're not in the best of moods. Their attitude is kind of, well, you know what it is like. But the idea about it is we just keep on pushing through. You know why? Because we want everybody to get on board.
Get on board.
Freedom training. Yeah. Freedom training. Financial independence.
And what happened for me?
You, my sister. Now, you're going to have to repeat that question again. About my level of trust. And what am I trusting now? As we move forward, I trust the process. I trust the process with all my heart and soul, because I know that once you truly trust, as a matter of fact, it says faith untrusted or faith untested is not trusted. Yeah, is that how I go?
Yes.
Faith untested is not trusted.
Cannot be trusted.
Yeah, cannot be. There you go. All right. Well, you know the deal. But so now, my trust now strengthens my belief. My belief strengthens my faith, and they all working together in unison.
Yes.
And so I know the harmony of them all, right, to keep me moving in the forward direction. Sometimes I got to duck and I got to bob and weave, but guess what? As long as I'm moving forward, even if I take an alternate path on occasions, right, because the obstacle might be so insurmountable. I got to take an alternate path, but I'm going with, right, because I trust the process. You see, and so every now and again you run into a detour. And so I got to appreciate the detours too. Sometimes, right, when we on the highway, we run into a detour sign. Man, where is this taking me now? Where it's taking you around so you can get right back on the course where you're going. So I can respect the detour. I hope I added some value to that question you asked. So that was a great question. I don't know, Miss Rachel. So when you asked me a question, validate my answer to that question is to ask you the same question and get your perspective on it. So, Rachel, about the thing of trust, how are you firmly planted where you are right now in trusting your faith and where you're going?
So I know that the universe will not return me void. And I know that I have to be intentional on everything that I do and say and everything that I hope for. And not only being intentional, being specific. And then being specific, I need to write it down. I need to, because see, the universe, it conspires on my behalf and it waits for cues to be able to serve me. And if I'm not cueing it correctly, it is not able to discern exactly how to support me. So my faith today is knowing that, my creator has given me everything I need to succeed and to be successful. My own challenges is my own personal battle. My own personal battle with my mental mindset, with my emotional mindset. But it has nothing to do with how the universe supports. The universe is abundantly rich, full of blessings over blessings. And in order for me to tap into those blessings, I have to, again, be specific about what I need and what I want. In doing that, I have to self develop mentally, self develop emotionally, spiritually, and physically. Because, when they say, money isn't everything, money isn't everything. But money for us in our business is a direct result of the families that we help, the families that we get out of financial poverty, the families that we pull up and say, come on, let's go to the promised land together. That 11-day journey of the children of Israel that would have only, they took them 40 years. It was only supposed to be 11 days. But, I don't want to dwell in the valley. I don't want to waver. I don't want to drift. And I know sometimes in my own mindset, because of conditioning, and we talked before on one of our broadcasts, because of that conditioned mindset, I can stagnate my growth. I can stagnate my prosperity. I can stagnate my progress if I'm not growing mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and then being able to receive the financial abundance so that I can help others. So I hope that answered your question, Mr. Akbar. I have faith and I have trust that the universe is going to give me everything I need to be successful. And so I've been able to repel the naysayers. There's always going to be something, someone, somewhere that's going to try to knock you off your soapbox. But what you do is you take that negative energy and you use it as stepping stones instead of letting those stones defeat you. And so I learned. Go ahead.
Question. Get through, I'm going to ask a question.
Go ahead, brother.
So when you're talking about abundance, I mean, can you give us a perspective on what that truly looks like, abundance? Because sometimes, when I think of abundance, go ahead, Rachel. Give me your perspective on what you think abundance is.
It's simple. It's endless possibilities, endless resource. So you have to tap in. You know, we all have it. I'm not special in that regard because everything that's available to me is available to everyone. But because we limit ourselves, we limit our thought processes, we limit our capabilities. And when we limit that, our mindset, see, I'm smiling overjoyed because right now I'm having a breakthrough. I'm having a breakthrough emotionally. I'm having a breakthrough mentally about the capacity that the universe is allowing me to explore. And I'm hoping that that can happen for others. Because too often, for too long, we stay stuck in a mindset, stuck in a pattern that, and I'll call it a pattern of a, because we think that this is it, all we're worth. We think this is all we can do and all that we've been afforded. When no, open that next door. Open that next door and walk on in. And I hope that answered your question, Mr. Akbar.
That was. I'd like to add a little something, if I may. You know, on my perspective,
Please.
Of abundance, and so just imagine now you have the ability to tend to the less fortunate than yourself, right? You have the ability, and what is that ability? Well, your ability is your desire to give. And when you act on that desire to give, you just watch and just pay attention. Generosity attracts abundance. Because if you in the spirit of giving generously, the universe has to supply you with what's required for you to be generous. Yes. So if you want abundance, you have to find a way to give to God's creatures. You have to find a way to give to the universe. You do that, supplied endlessly. And the word attached to that becomes abundance. Does that make sense?
Yes.
People that are given, they never run out of. Just think about it. You know, even sometimes, right, when you think you don't have a whole lot and the scarcity mindset want to pounce upon you and restrict you and your ability to be kind and generous because, you know, oh, this is all we got. But just free yourself and be generous and watch how you be supplied with enough for everything that you was generous about. It's just that way. That's what the universe is. It never run out. We never run out of anything. We just may not have access. And the reason that we don't sometimes have access is because we limit our ability to access it. You understand? Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
There it is. So that's my perspective on abundance.
Yeah.
Be generous. Give. Open up your hand. Give. Let go of something.
Mm-hmm.
There it is. Okay, Rachel.
So
I got another question for you. Are you prepared for another question, Miss Rachel?
Go right ahead, sir.
All right, here we go. So if you had an opportunity to start your life over, I mean, how would you see yourself developing?
If I had an opportunity to start my life over, how would I see myself developing? That's a hard question because, again, if I'm starting my life over, it still depends. I mean, am I at an infant stage? Am I a juvenile? Am I a young adult? You know, that's too broad. I need a little more specific.
So, you know, it's like the principles and values that govern us. You know, and so, you know, just let me see if I can. So I came up, I was emotionally unsupervised in my development. So as a result of that, I relied a lot on anger and hostility to make a point. And so my communication wasn't the best style of communicating. And so if I had to start all over again, I would like to have been emotionally supervised.
Mm-hmm.
So I could have been able to connect what was emotionally appropriate, because it is the emotions that generally drives our behavior when we're emotionally immature. And so I was emotionally immature, so I acted often on my feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And so, it got me in situations that worked the best favor.
Yeah.
And so that's what I was referring to.
Yeah. Well, thank you for clarifying. With me, I came up in a household that was they weren't real. They didn't keep it real. Um, they allowed things to perpetuate that should have been cut off at the quick. I like to say that saying. They should have not allowed to continue. And because they allowed it to continue, that's how I developed this fantasy mind. But one thing I can say about it, I'm glad that I have a fantasy mind, because I'm endless in my growth and my creativity and what I want to be. So I lived in fantasy a lot when I was growing up. I had my dolls, my stuffed animals, my music, and God. And we used to have tea parties, and I'd laugh and talk. And I had this fantasy life on what I wanted it to be like. So if I could start it all over again, I would have gotten everyone in my household in therapy, for sure. That would have been number one. Long-term therapy, not no one-time, two-time, three-time trip. It would have been extensive, several-year therapy. If I had started my life over again, I would have made sure we saved differently in the beginning. We would have utilized insurance as a form and a means of generational wealth. Everybody in the household would have had a plan that would have been funded correctly, so it would have grown appropriately, have an advantage in life to really create beautiful, be able to move forward to our goals and our dreams. I grew up in that generational curse mindset where you got to work for somebody else and be paid meager wages. So what you were paid, just be grateful for what you got. I grew up in a real slave mentality type household. My grandmother taught us that in order to really be able to save money, you had to start with your food dollars. That was the only place you really could save, in your kitchen. So we ate a lot of beans, a lot of rice, a lot of turkey necks. I mean, chicken and meatloaf was a delicacy. And then also money don't grow on trees. Just the certain sayings that kept me in a poverty mindset, kept me in a scarcity way of thinking. I would have changed all of that stuff. So yeah, don't get me started on some things you want to change, man. Those are big things that I would have had an opportunity to say, we don't have to worry about anything. All you have to do now is figure out, what do you like? What do you want to do? Be, and how can we support you in that avenue? Saw early on that I had psychological issues and got me help early on. I would have done that. Showed me how to friend more so, because I started out as a great friend, playing with my dollies, trying to share. Came across some bad kids that was mean to me early on. That turned me into a hardcore person, whereas I beat you down if you mess over me. So, it's certain things I would change. I would have been around more like-minded people that had the ability to want to grow and achieve. See, there's another thing. So you brought up something when you said this. I grew up around people that didn't know how to work together to create, because I grew up in a crab mentality, crabs in a barrel atmosphere. If someone see you doing well, opposed to them, hey, what you doing? How you doing it? Teach me how to do it. I want to add to it. How can I be a part of it? Grew up in she thinks she all that, and all the whispering and, just the negativity, man. I grew up in that kind of a error. So I would have changed all that. I only want to be around Positive Avenue and Loving and Kindness Boulevard and Prosperity Court. I want to be in that type of neighborhood. That's where I want to be. I want to be in lack. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Ask me a question.
All right. Well, let's make that let's make that time travel now.
All
we're
right.
back to the present. Yeah, absolutely. But that was interesting the way you were talking about that. And a couple of ideas came to my head as you were talking. About that whole process. When it comes to crabs in the bucket. I understand what you're talking about in reference to that because, it was always appreciate
Hey, so the broadcast ended. Mr. Akbar's off. So I'm going to end the broadcast. I think what we did talk about was great. Join us next time. Like I said, we don't own this. We need to really pull for it, together as a community to get our own broadcast, our own satellites, so that we can not be interrupted when we're sharing something that's really substantial, something that can benefit all of us as a community. I notice every time we get